Welcome to Body Reconnect, where I help you to decipher the signs and signals your body sends you every day, begging you to make changes, course correct, lifestyle, diet, stress level, get all of that together so you can stay out of the doctor's office and, more importantly, stay out of surgery. I am Michelle Dominique, certified wellness coach and lymphatic drainage therapist. Look, that last part, stay out of surgery, is serious. Now, there are times when you have to, and I'm not talking about that. So I'm not even going to waste time justifying that. But that is pretty much 90% of my clientele. Either they have had surgery and did not get the results they wanted, or even if they did have surgery, they did not like the fact that had they been given all the options in the beginning, that they probably could have avoided having the surgery altogether. That becomes super important with this next story. If this is your first time seeing me, I'm going to go into this just a little bit about how extraordinarily intricate the human spine is. Extraordinarily intricate. So much so, that's why if someone has had their spine severed, or, we all saw, if you remember, I'm dating myself, Christopher Reeves, everything that they tried and went through, and, they were able to get some kind of success with him in this super multi-million-dollar water tank. But at the end of the day, after that injury on his horse that snapped his spine and caused him to be a quadriplegic, there was a lot of money thrown at his recovery, but at the end of the day, it just didn't work. Your spine is, I always talk about how the body is the smart system or smart device in the world. Your spine is the smartest part of that smart system. Your spine is so incredibly intricate that even now it cannot be replicated or duplicated. That being said, you might want to think twice, especially if you are having a spinal surgery to get you out of pain. Go way, way back before you do that. Massage, lymphatic drainage, chiropractic, acupuncture, nutrition, before you even consider having a spine surgery. Massage, lymphatic drainage, chiropractor, acupuncture, and nutrition. Not one time, not one visit, not 2 visits. I recommend 6 weeks, once a week, before you decide to have a spine surgery. Here's why. Your spine is so incredibly intricate with the discs and the fluid, right? Anytime, for any reason that you touch this intricate system, it will force you to have to do it again and again and again. Now, if you're in your 60s, not like you're over the hill or dying, you're likely going to have that. If you live to 80, you're going to have something done again to your spine. But when you are in your 20s and your early 30s having spinal surgery, the spine, if you've ever been to a chiropractor and you see that chart with all the nerves that come off the spine that affect things like digestion, migraines, sinuses, same thing with massage. The spine is crucial. So here's what happens when you have a surgery. Usually it's a fusion. Now, you may think, oh, but they didn't put anything in my body. They only used my existing discs and fused them together to help stop pain. Here's the problem with that. Remember I said If your body is the smartest smart device in the world, your spine heads the smart device, it does not matter if you're only using, if the doctor is not inserting anything else, he's just in connecting your spine together without that cushion. Either it has evaporated or he has taken it out. This changes tremendously the complexity and the whole setup of the rest of the spine. So here is what's going to happen and why you will have or will need another spinal surgery. These two spines, without the addition of cages, pins, or anything else, if you have just fused the two of the spinal discs, it makes it an unnatural weight. So that means one of two things is going to happen. This unnatural weight will now compress on the discs below it, or it will pull on the discs above it, causing you to need to have another surgery. Now, I'm not telling you what to do once your fluid leaves you, but I am telling you, massage, lymphatic drainage, acupuncture, and chiropractic, along with real, sustainable, bioavailable, digestible nutrition, can keep you from getting to that point. Spinal surgery, I've been doing this like almost 25, I think next year, maybe this year made 25 years. No, next year, 25 years I've been in this wellness arena. In 25 years, I don't have 20 customers who have had completely successful spinal surgeries that did not result in another surgery or that completely fixed the problem that they went in for. Now, here's another part I'm going to add to this. I saw this story, and I didn't even realize it happened here in Texas. The doctor is, and please look this up, Duntsh, Dr. Dunch, also known as Dr. Death, who was a neurosurgeon. He was a surgeon, right? But his specialty was in research. Now, he could get privileges because of all his degrees, and he did when he realized that research would not net as much money, because as a surgeon, his starting salary was $600,000, starting salary. And he found himself in financially destitute and switched from research to surgery. Check this story out. I saw it the other night. It gripped my heart and made me nauseous. It was that bad, right? So he made the switch. Unfortunately, for all of the patients whom he saw, including, I think the first one was a best friend of his, who he left a quadriplegic. He went in for a simple neck surgery. There is nothing simple about surgery. I keep telling you guys, if a doctor tells you it's simple to them. It does not speak to how your body will respond. If they say it's routine to them. They may have done 500. Don't think that you won't have any complications. It's great that if you don't, but don't think that just because he's done so many, it means that all the stars will line up automatically. Be very careful. That's why alternative, which should not be called alternative therapies, it should be first response therapies, right? Chiropractor, acupuncture, massage, lymphatic drainage, nutrient. That's your first line of defense before you see the surgeon. Look this story up on American Greed. If you never watched that show, that's a great show to watch. But this particular, or you could go to their website. It aired just the other night. But the long and short of it is this guy had the credentials and he had expertise. But his expertise was in research. His credentials, however, allowed him to get privileges at a hospital. Simple surgery, one lady died, bled out because he hit something else. Another simple surgery, and this is the one he got prosecuted on, was with an elderly lady, removed too much muscle tissue. Woman was in chronic, she was screaming in pain in the hospital when she woke up. Another guy did his research. This guy had a lot of credentials. This Dr. Dunch had a lot of credentials listed. He went with him. Worst mistake of his life. He is in more pain than he was before, had to give up his job as a truck driver and just exist in chronic pain. And that's the other thing. When you've had a surgery and they burn the nerves now, they cut them out, all of these things, when it comes to the spine, if they don't get it, that's your life. That I have, there is no pain like chronic spinal pain. And I don't just mean it's along your spine. Yes, there is the burning sensation, but it radiates out. And if they've already done the surgery on that part, they don't know what else to do. Sometimes I can help alleviate, just ease up a little bit on the pain for a bit. But when you start with spinal surgery, nothing good can come from it if it wasn't successful. Be very, very, very careful. If you are having back pains, please, for the love of all that I know, do not go to a spinal surgeon first. They're a surgeon. That is what they do best, surgery. They don't deal with lifestyle. They don't deal with alternative therapies. They don't deal with strengthening your body. That is not the first place you go. That's the last resort. When everything else that you have given a serious effort, not like some people that come to me once and say, well, it didn't work. How long have you been in pain? Only one day? But you wanted me to get you out of pain in one day. Be very, very, very guarded, protective, and cautious of your spine. I almost cried watching what this man did. In addition to killing people, some of the people, they would have been better off had they died. And remember, one of them was his best friend. He didn't have credentials. He had credentials for what he was doing. He just did not have expertise at what he was doing. And the scary part about it, this went on and he just moved from hospital to hospital. And it was legal that they didn't report him. And so, they should have caught it after the first one. And they didn't. So the laws were there, but they had big old loopholes that he was able to and did jump through. So in the end, none of the hospitals, 3 of which he practiced at, lost their licenses or were reprimanded. He didn't even lose his license. The thing that got him, he did get imprisoned, but the thing was not for any of the people that he killed. Because of the one lady, because she was elderly, and they got him on elder abuse. Otherwise, he'd still be out now. I don't even know what else to say after this other than share this video with someone, especially if they have back problems or seriously considering having surgeries to solve a back problem. Please share this video. Remember, you can reach out to me for a free consultation, no cost whatsoever. When it comes to what I have seen, and then with back situations, and then what I saw last night with Dr. Dunch, D-U-N-T-C-S-H or something. Well, you could always look up Dr. Death. That was that was what they called him in the Dallas area. Don't be willy-nilly about any surgery. I shared the story about a client who went in for a routine tonsillectomy, came out with a trach, a huge disfigurement, and an inability to swallow for 14 years. Right? I've just started working with her and we've made tremendous success. I'll share some of that. But when they say routine surgery, all that means is they've done a lot of them. It doesn't mean how your body will respond to it. Once again, this has been Michelle Dominique, certified wellness coach and lymphatic drainage therapist, reminding you, you deserve to live your best, healthiest life. I want to help you do that. Be sure to reach out to me and share this video. Until next time.